This is video 2 of setting up your iPad from the very beginning. This is basically taking off of where we left off in the last video. Now that we're at our home screen, we're going to sit here for a minute, and what I'd like for you to do, if you haven't already done so, is go to iTunes.com and download iTunes. iTunes. Okay, well, just click here. This is going to change every time you come to this website, so every time they come out with something new, you're going to see it a little different here. So we're going to click on download iTunes. You can also just go to apple.com, and I'll show you that here. And click on iTunes. Oh, it's the same thing. It's because the iPhone 6 just came out, so they're going to advertise that for on the homepage there. But anyway, go ahead and download iTunes for your computer or your Mac, and go ahead and run the installation. Now, to save time here, I've already done that, so I'm just going to get started by opening iTunes for the first time. I haven't opened iTunes on this profile before, and we're going to see what it does here. Now that iTunes is open, go ahead and agree to this long list of things here. Again, if you decline it, you can't use the software, so you might as well just click agree. And iTunes should open up momentarily here. Okay. Now right away it's gonna ask you if you want to set it to be the default player. A lot of this stuff is preference. I usually click no and don't tell me again, but you can certainly click yes. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm not going to spend any time explaining that part of it. Apparently I had an older version of iTunes downloaded. There must be a new one since I've done this, so I'm going to click for now don't download. If you do see this, feel free to download the newest version of iTunes. Basically, they're prepping it for a new version of iOS that's going to be coming out soon. So you don't have to do it when it comes out right away, but at some point you will be required to update your iTunes to the latest version if you want all the updates and to iOS and so forth. So, but for now, we're just going to skip that. And we're going to maximize this here. All right. So what you're going to be basically, it's going to show you around a little bit here. And if you'd like to take time to read through this stuff, you can. The purpose of this video is not to show you really how to use iTunes. I'll cover that in another video. The purpose of this video basically is just to show you how to synchronize your new iPad with iTunes. So you can click agree here. It'll share information with your music library so that you can get album covers and album art that looks like this here on this picture. So you can choose not to do that. Again, it's a preference. I always click agree. If you have music on your computer that you'd like to sync with iTunes, you can have iTunes automatically scan your computer and find that information. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click go to the store. Okay, now to make iTunes a little easier to navigate, I like the old school way of seeing it on the left hand side. They kind of took that away, but it's still, you can still get that back. Basically, we're going to click on show menu bar here at the top, and then under view we're going to click show sidebar so that we can see our iPad here. And you can see here that it's set up as a new iPad. Before we continue, I'm going to click on the store button here, and we're going to go ahead and authorize. First, we're going to sign in with our new Apple ID we just created on the iPad. If you did not create it on the iPad, you can do that now simply by clicking Create Apple ID. I'm going to sign in. Right. All right, now it's going to ask you to review your account because I've never used this account before. Now you can run through all of these steps. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. All right, this part here, you have to enter credit card information in order to download applications that cost money. There are plenty of apps on the App Store that don't cost anything. For the video purposes here, I'm going to skip this. I'm going to hit cancel. But if you do intend on buying anything from either it's movies or music or TV shows, applications, anything that costs money, you're going to need to have an account or a credit card in your iTunes account, which is why I stress to make sure that your password is secure, so no one can steal your password or hack it. Well, unless they breach the Apple servers, which you really don't have much control over that. But in any event, we're going to move ahead. We're going to click on the iPad here in the left corner under Devices, and we're going to continue. Again, it's going to show you some stuff here that you can sync movies, TV shows, and more. And as you can see, there is a progress bar here. It's doing some things. The first thing it said that it was backing it up. And we're going to have some options here shortly once this is finished. Okay, it says finish sync. All right, sync with iTunes. You can use iTunes to sync music apps and other media to your iPad. Get started. Okay, now you can see the status of your iPad. This is where I was talking about earlier that you could either sync with iCloud or sync and back up to your computer. I personally like to back up my stuff myself to my computer because there are pictures or stuff that's sensitive I don't want to put out on the web. So I always choose backup to this computer. You can choose to encrypt the data with a password if you'd like. I don't do that. I feel like it's just another step, but you can certainly do that if you'd like. And this is where you basically when you click sync or backup, it almost does the same thing. Sync is when after you put in some new music or something, new video or whatever, you'll choose sync. But we're going to back it up now. And you'll see it's backing it up, and it's already done because there isn't much data that's on this iPad. It's brand new. All right, so that takes you through syncing your iPad with iTunes. And from the next segment, I'm going to discuss how to use the iPad itself. I just wanted to make this a brief section on how to synchronize your iPad with your computer. In another video, I'm going to show in detail how to synchronize things like music and movies and anything else that you have in your iTunes account or that you have on your computer. When you buy a movie, a Blu-ray disc or a 3D Blu-ray or a DVD, a lot of times they come with a digital copy. I'm going to show you at some point how to make that available on your iPad. So we'll check back in another video on that. But that concludes this portion.